Whoa, was there a war on Mars long ago between alien races that resulted in the destruction of a Martian civilization? This is wild. That is the story given by a guest on Lyndon Moulton Howe. He's a scientist that has examined the Martian soil and has found evidence of nuclear strikes in the region where the face on Mars is, as well as a pyramidal structure. Okay, this is really interesting. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road on a special bathroom edition of Cosmic Road. This is the holidays. You know, you gotta go with the flow. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and as I'm going through the story, please comment below and let me know what you think. Oh, and if you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a channel member. In the first line of the description below, you can see there's 2 membership options. Tier 2 gets you exclusive videos, or you can simply leave a tip in the tip jar with the super thanks feature below. Okay, moving on to the story. On Lyndon Moulton Howe's most recent episode, she had this very interesting guest. He's a scientist guy who has been examining and studying Mars for years. And he firmly believes, and he has some evidence to back this up, that there was a nuclear war with at least 2 nuclear strikes on Mars. Now, this is really interesting because there's, a good deal of evidence. Some of it is a bit woo-woo, that there was a civilization on Mars long ago. There's one remote viewer, for example, who saw a Martian civilization 1 million years ago. And there have been, other people who have seen similar things. Some say there is still activity on Mars. Some of it is human activity on Mars, some say. Anyway, here's the guest on Lyndon Moulton Howe.
I was working on scientific intelligence called MASINT. So I was working there in 2001, from 1999 to 2001 till shortly after 9/11. And it had become clear what the likely scenario was. It appears that there was a culture on Mars that was humanoid. It looks like early Kingdom Egypt or the Mayans. Mm-hmm. And then the scenario which seems to fit what we have found best is that some other alien group came and decided to destroy this culture on Mars and the entire Mars biosphere with it, so it could never recover. There were a lot of pictures taken by Viking of Cydonia which were never released to the public.
Because it looks exactly like a face.
Yes, and the pyramid looks exactly like a pyramid.
Right.
So you got a pyramid and a face right next to each other. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what that implies.
Right, and the connection between a humanoid face and a large pyramid on Mars, knowing that we have in our Mesopotamian region of the Earth, large pyramids and sphinxes, then who would have been warring on Earth and on Mars that would have ended up with 2 hydrogen bombs exploding over Cydonia, where the big pyramid and the face on Mars were? It implies that this bombing was to try to destroy whoever built those.
Yes, that is what I think is the most likely scenario based on the evidences I have found.
Okay, here's the definition of face pareidolia. I'm probably mispronouncing that. The phenomenon of seeing faces in everyday objects. Uses the same brain processes that we use to recognize and interpret other real human faces. So is that what's going on in this case? When we look at the images of the face on Mars, is that a real face or is that just a weird rock? That weird picture of a pyramid thing, is that a real pyramid thing or is that just another rock? I've seen other angles of the face on Mars where it looks more like just a rock. But who knows, maybe that's a manipulated image designed to sow disinformation. I firmly believe there is real disinformation out there. There are people that don't want us to know the truth. And there's also, I think, different narratives being put forth to confuse the issues. Some of those narratives might be coming from the government. Some might be coming from the beings themselves. It's difficult to trust any NASA imagery or any official imagery coming out of Mars because of all of this disinformation. And, NASA has a history of censoring stuff they don't want us to know, editing out UFOs from videos and blurring them out of photos. But I've seen enough independent evidence, again, from more woo-woo sources, mainly remote viewers, and a few other things. There's been, near-death experiences where people have gone into the cosmos or in the solar system and seen stuff. And there's been people that can astral project and go places. And that general sort of thing, if any of that information is reliable, then there are habitations on the moon, and there are habitations on Mars. And there were non-human beings on Mars at one point. There were also humans on Mars, and still might be, according to a lot of this information. Until I can learn to astral project myself, it's hard for me to say. So, I'll let you know how my progress on that goes. I am actually trying to learn how to do astral travel. I really want to have an out-of-body experience. Just imagine flying through the rings of Saturn or going to other dimensions. Wouldn't that be cool? There are other structures on Mars that people have found that really legitimately seem to be kind of weird. They don't look like natural objects. So what are they? I've read all the Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter of Mars books. I keep on waiting to see Dejah Thoris, but so far no go. Anyway, what do you think? Are there people on Mars? All the talk about the secret space program, which reluctantly I'm seeing more and more evidence of, and I'm forced to acknowledge there may be some truth to that. I just did a video on that a couple of days ago. It tied into that, the Terry Lovelace story, where he was brought aboard this large UFO, where he was seeing many military people interacting, like 50 military people or something, he said, interacting with the beings, the aliens, the non-humans. And to see that large of a force of military people working with beings that are possibly going and coming from space, if not stranger places, argues for the existence of the space fleet, or the secret space fleet, the secret space program. And, people like Lou Elizondo vouch for Terry Lovelace. So, just seeing some military guys aboard a spaceship doesn't necessarily equate to the secret space program. That could be something less fantastic than that, but it could also be the secret space program. Honestly, I don't know whether to be more excited about that or more worried. I mean, it's cool on the one hand, but on the other, my God, what have they kept from us? If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. That'd be awesome. Smash that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. Please join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Please help me make these videos as good as I can make them and spend more time on the channel by becoming a channel member. You can see in the description, the very first link is a way to become a member of the channel. Or you can simply drop a tip in the tip jar with the Super Thanks feature below. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you for those of you who have supported the channel, whether by contributing or just sharing a video or dropping a like. I really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I hope you go off and have a good Thanksgiving. And I don't know if I will be dropping a video on Thanksgiving Day, but if I don't, I'll talk to you after the holidays. Until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road.